Uh-oh, sir.
Good afternoon. It is May 27, 2024. I'd like to welcome you to Evadyne with Company, talk worth listening to. I am Evadyne, and we are on the Grown Folk Talking Network. You may call in 520-525-8633 and listen to the entire show lineup for the shows that are on this network. You may visit my website, networkingforsuccess.info. You may visit my YouTube, like, share, subscribe, ring.com. That's the address. Like, share, subscribe, ring.com. And of course, when you get there, like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm just saying, when you go to my website, networkingforsuccess.info, go to the promo tab and purchase my book. And then give me a call at 347-649-7741 with some feedback. Or review it on Amazon on the page. Or, I have 2 books right now. A third is coming. Then a 4. Then 11 more. Just saying, right? But suicide is a serious killer. Let's end it today is the title of one book. And mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. That's the second book. They're Siamese twins. The next one coming is Demystifying Suicide. Then the one after that is Letting Loose the Juice, a Relationship Shifter. I love that one. And that's kind of part of what we're going to talk about today. Today's topic is about empty nesters preparing for the next part of your life. You know what an empty nester is? Well, let me give you the reverse. Here's the reverse. I watched twigs being brought onto my terrace, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 4 by 4, until a nest was complete. And then I happened to look out the door, and there was a pigeon sitting on the nest. Of course, it had laid its golden egg. And we see that in books. And if some of you have been involved in nature, you've probably seen it in person. I was quite fascinated personally because I'd never seen such a thing. But I thought how wondrous it is not only that the birds found a place, built the nest, and perfect, just like you see it in the book, perfect nest. Left, right, center, left, right, center, left, right, center, with a dip in the middle. It was amazing. But they prepared a place for the little one to be covered and around. And then it was born, and then they were literally teaching it how to fly. And then it flew away. And I guess the mom and the dad and the aunties, the village, continued on with their life. So, yes, when we give birth, there's a pause. The pause begins after conception and after the realization that you're expecting as parents. But then there's another pause temporarily as you are creating a harmonious home environment for that baby, for that infant, for that toddler, for that child, for that teenager, and for that young adult who eventually flies and goes on about their business. But the pause isn't supposed to stop you from living your life. I find in some cases when people get involved in relationships, they give up their friendships. They take a pause from those who they used to associate with. And it's a funny thing. I always think about the fact that you came into that relationship with all of those people around you, with your friends. May have even met that individual while you were hanging out with your friends or with your coworkers or traveling. But some people get into relationships, and instead of allowing that relationship to continue to evolve around both of your existing lives, you pause or stop your previous associations, your previous relationships with others. And then once you make a commitment, whether it's a verbal commitment or spiritual commitment or religious commitment or marriage, some really stop doing the things they used to do. And I always say keep in mind that it's the things you used to do that you were doing through your relationship, through that whole relationship, through that friendship, before the commitment, before the marriage, before the children. All of who you are is what has made that relationship what it is. If you go to my YouTube, I do have two videos: how to have a happy relationship and how to have a happy divorce. And I highly recommend to people to listen to Escape by Rupert Holmes. It's a song. I call it the Pina Colada song. Listen to those lyrics, or just go on and read those lyrics. You can't stop recognizing, enhancing self and those you are involved with. When it comes to your children, so empty nest is usually defined when your children have grown up and left home. And because you are so committed to taking care of them, they don't even ask for it. However, they're used to it, right? They're used to it. But you are so committed to that being your life that when they grow up and go to school, college, they go away, you have a hard time adjusting. They graduate out of high school and move into their own careers. You have a hard time adjusting. Even if they're still living at home, one of the hardest points of adjustment is to back up from taking care of them financially. But because we are used to it, and we are supposed to do it as their parents, we are supposed to financially provide. We're supposed to provide a roof, food. We're supposed to nurture them. We are as their parents, as they're growing up. But there comes that time when you have to start weaning not only them, but yourself from that position. You still love them and you still do for them and with them, but they're becoming adults, for which you are as well. And that weaning is so that it is not an instant what do they call it? Cold turkey. That cold turkey could hurt. Cold turkey can hit kind of hard, like a rock, you know? There are people who have to go into therapy when they become empty nesters. They cry. They find it very difficult to adjust, to find their way, their path. And, some people will say, "Oh, get over it." Well, easier said than done. So I am kind of here to talk about what you feel people should do in preparation for the empty nest position. In preparation, one of the things I think people should do, actually, is in the beginning not give up your own life. Not give up your life. Either going into a relationship or when you have your children. Don't give up your you, because it is your you that your mate knows. And it is the you that you want your children to see. That beautiful personality, that hard worker, that caring and loyal person. That's what you want your children to know about you. You don't want them to just know you're the mother or you're the father or your disciplinary actions or how you handle life within the home. You want them to know you. Talk about your job. Talk about work. Talk about your dreams. Encourage them to have dreams. Have those conversations. Here we go again, though. You do have people who say you shouldn't be your child's friend. But I say, what quality in a friendship should not exist in a parent-child relationship? What quality? What are the qualities of friendship? True friendship that should not exist in a parent-child relationship. I don't think there's any. I don't think we should be our children's friends. We should be their confidant. We should teach them honesty, display honesty, respect, loyalty. We should have the conversations about future. We should have conversations about past. Past lessons help prepare us for the present and the future. What quality in a good friendship should not exist in a parent-child relationship? Just asking. The empty nesters who have a hard time are those who have put their lives on hold, maybe never found their lives in terms of living their passion. Some people go right from their parents to a relationship to parenting, never being self, never having that individual life with those ingredients and characteristics that you can go back to. So then, yeah, that'd make it kind of difficult to know what to do when the children aren't home anymore. Even if they're away at school, some parents look forward to them coming home on break. And when they don't come home on break, they're frazzled. They're looking forward to seeing them, but this young person is developing their individuality, and you want them to do that. There are some empty nesters who are so involved in their children's lives that it becomes difficult for the child, who's an adult, to live their lives fully because they are tangled between how to respectfully ask the parent to step back and the parent listening so that it doesn't interfere with the adult child relationship. And you don't want them to appear disrespectful. You want them to You want them to continue to be loving and understanding, but they want you to respect their feelings as their parent as you want them to respect yours. So maybe, you can start having that conversation now. Start preparing now when your child is 6 or 7 or 8 years old. Start preparing for that exit, that faithful, wondrous, harmonious exit when that young person becomes old enough to exit, you know? So I'll ask the question to those who are listening. um, what are your opinions, experiences, recommendations, or suggestions to be an empty nester, a happy empty nester, one that continues to have a fulfilled and fulfilling life when the children are now young adults and have moved on? What are some of your suggestions? Anyone? Any suggestions if you are an empty nester? If you were the child, the adult, the young adult who went away to college and opted not to come back after graduation, or if you just graduated from high school and you and your friends decided to get your own apartment, did you experience a negative reaction from your parents regarding your departing the home? Anyone? Or positive, because we want to encourage people. We really want to encourage people to be happy and empty nesters. And so in encouraging that, we want to help people to understand it is beneficial to a good further life and a long life to allow your children to be free, but to also find your place. That's the key. Finding your place in that new act of this play we call life. Finding your place, finding your part. And again, I do believe the key is not losing it. Not losing it. You enter a relationship or become a parent. Don't give up self, because those qualities and characteristics that are in you are also a part of your child. But sometimes they don't see that in you when you're not displaying it anymore, when you are acting only in the caregiver position. Is this making sense? Anyone? So I know you may be muted. If you are muted, you could star 6. You can hit star 6, and that will unmute you. Okay. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Hi.
Hi, this is Shirley King, state of Maryland. I'm listening to you. I can relate on both sides. I think that, well, I'm kind of old school. Um, I really think that you should teach your children the essentials of life that they're going to eventually face when they grow up under your nourishing care. But under your nourishing care, after you finish nourishing and giving them, I hope when I say nourish, I'm talking about a balance, the mother and the father being there to raise the child, to show the balance. If not, I've seen women raise boys, men raise girls, vice versa, whatever, however. But the balance has to be there. And then when the child gets to a certain age, you got to watch the milestones, and then you got to watch how quick the child learn and the way the child observe and absorb the essentials of life. Because it is your duty to teach the child in the way they should go, that they'll never depart away from it. So when you teach them, even though they remember they long-term memory is more present than the short-term memory. So what you teach them as a young child, they're going to remember that more than what they remember 6 months ago. So, however, teach your children. And some of these children are screaming out because they haven't been nursed and they haven't been taught. And the loudest one in the room is the one that's hurting. So, as leaders, as parents, as guides, as overseers, whoever your child, just child care. If you birth them or whatever, teach them in the way they should go. I'll always be with them so they can be all and build up the security, that they're not insecure, that they are sure about what they're doing because they've been taught at an early age. Sometimes we protect our kids and keep our kids sheltered too long, and then when they go out, they older than they should be when they start they learning. But then on the flip side of that, what I have to say to that is, while you're teaching your children and nourishing your children, you should be nourishing yourself as well, because you are the most important person. Because if you don't nourish yourself, love yourself, stay perpendicular in line, that God could guide you through the process, in which He will, if you believe and have faith, He will guide. And just have time for yourself. You only have 24 hours in a day. You got to schedule your time. You got to monopolize your time, because you are responsible for yourself and the children. I think I said too much, but however, you got to have a balance.
No, that was great. And so you spoke about the early steps in raising your child and preparing them for their future. And the empty nester at times is one who can't let go. So you've done all you were to do. As I mentioned, your children are now grown. They're in their careers. They're away at college. And I thought to talk about this today because it's graduation time. And we just want to make sure that all of the graduates are receiving congratulations. Wherever you're graduating from, your step up, your step out, and congratulations to the parents and to the village, because it takes a village to raise a child, whether it's the neighbors or the aunts and uncles or the grandparents or the friends of the parents or the children's friends' parents. I just want to say thank you and congratulations to everyone for the accomplishments, and not just the graduations, any accomplishment that a child has made. Even if the child has to repeat a grade, this time it'll be a bit more easier because some of this information you have seen. So I just want to, again, here I am just shouting out everyone for all of your accomplishments. As long as you're putting forth your best efforts, I congratulate you. May 2024, we're speaking. But yes, so you have some parents, Shirley, and thank you for coming on. You have some parents who don't know how to release themselves from being the child's parent. And I remember hearing on a talk show where they said once your child reaches adulthood, you actually become their consultant. You become their consultant, because if you've done the things you should have done in the best way you knew how to do it, and raising them, as you mentioned, Shirley,
then now it's a wait and see. You want to know that they can do it without you. You want to know that what you put in place is now going to be utilized. So you sit back and you wait to be asked for your opinion. You may see things happening and think, oh, God, I want to just jump in and do something here. But we need to make sure they can do it, because that day is going to come when we're really not here at all. So you want to make sure that they can handle it. Be there for support. Be there in the background. You're like that silent partner, in the business. But you don't want to be the interjector, constantly interjecting into their lives, who, what, where, when, how. And with the empty nester, you also hear people who will say that grown people shouldn't live at home, and I'm not in agreement with that 100%, because if it's a home where people are all individuals and being respected as individuals. It's not like the parent is telling the child what time to come home, and because we had some of that too, but what time to come home, and to do this and to do that, like giving them their chores. It should be a level of respect and understanding of what you need to contribute to the home as a young adult now. If you're working, what you need to contribute to the home. I have no problem with adult males and females still living at home as long as there's enough space, because, again, financially, one, it may be needed. The parent may need that help. Two, sometimes the children are living at home while they're working so they can stack their money. As long as they're being responsible at home, it allows them to stack their money so that maybe when they leave home, they're leaving home into a home or a condo. Maybe they're looking to purchase. Maybe they're looking to relocate. Whatever it is they're looking to do, it's a progressive, you're still living at home situation, not a lazy, you're still living at home situation on the child side. And on the parent side, it's a clear understanding that who's living in your home now is your adult child, not your toddler and not your teenager. So, there's a whole lot in there. Would anyone else like to give an opinion? Okay, all right. So, I'm just going to continue, because people go to therapy or need therapy because their children have left home. People cry. And I'm going to say maybe women more than men. And speaking to some men, fathers, they are looking forward to their children going off and being independent. Again, that's what we hope for them. That's what we're raising them to do and be. But women, because women are more emotional, they may tend to hold on a little tighter. I remember as a tax preparer, we were preparing taxes for this young lady, and she said that she was claiming her daughter, but her daughter worked. She said, but I still take care of her. I pay her car fare, pay her phone bill. And so we said, well, we need to see how much money your daughter made to determine whether or not you can still claim her as a dependent. The following week, the lady came back with her daughter's W-2. When we opened it up, the daughter made double the mother. She made double the salary that the mother made. The mother was in shock. she was in shock, because she said, well, I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing that, and I'm still doing this. And can anyone tell me what was missing in that situation?
Communication.
Absolutely, 100%. Effective communication. Thank you. That is exactly what was missing in that situation, because, I mean, there are other cultures who are sitting down with their children at the table, budgeting and planning, and even involved in their business with the children as young as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And it's not a bad thing. And if that effective communication was in place, the mother would have known how much the child was making. The child would have been contributing to the household and paying her own phone bill and buying her own Metro card to get back and forth to work. But we are in such a habits are crazy. Habits come in all shapes, forms, sizes, colors, flavors. Habits are habits. And we're in the habit of being the caretakers. We have to wean ourselves and wean our children for a better future for all. A better future for all. I remember when I had a podcast, it was about growing old. I was hoping to get much older people on so we could hear and we can get some tips. Because if you're over 80, I'd like to know what you're doing and what you did. And now we know about the blue zones where people are living, over 100. But one of the things that was said was community. Community is what allows people to live long, healthy lives. Community, communication, joy, and happiness. Those are some of the things. But also they mentioned having younger friends. Having younger friends. When you have younger friends, then if it is just a matter of people within your age range transitioning, passing on, you still have younger friends. You're not seeking them at that point. They're already a part of your life. And that made a lot of sense. To me, that made a lot of sense. And when we say younger friends, it doesn't mean, well, it means whatever it means. It all depends on who you are. It's how young they should be. But those were some of the benefits that led to living happy and healthy. Community, communication, laughter. And next week I'm going to have a show on living your purpose and passion. Living your purpose and passion. So if you know anyone who's living their purpose and passion, have them call. Have them call me or have them call into the show. Because your purpose, well, is for a reason. It is our Creator's design for our lives. And sometimes the purpose is lost in translation, and sometimes that translation are our parents. Our parents lose us in guiding us in the ways they want us to be, instead of possibly observing who we are and what we gravitate to naturally and supporting that if possible. I had a customer today. It was so wonderful. She's 72, and I was taking her to a horse farm so she could go ride her horse. And she's had a career in marketing, and she's had a career. What's up, Shirley? Shirley. She's had a career in, it's okay, hon. She's had a career in marketing and corporate culture, similar to diversity. And that was her career, and she's very, 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 very good at it. But her passion is riding horses. And so I mentioned to her my previous show where I asked people a couple of questions. One, what's in heaven? Two, if when you arrive at the pearly gate, you're asked, what would you like to do for eternity? What would you say? And are you doing it now? Those were the three questions I asked. And think about those questions. What's in heaven? When you arrive, if you're asked what you would want to do for eternity, what would you say? And are you doing it today? I believe we should be living heaven on earth. And so one of the examples that I would give is if you're living in a urban city, but you love horses and you would love to ride horses all day long, well, you may not be able to if you're living within the inner city, right? But are you doing that on vacation? So when I was taking her to the horse farm and she explained, she was going to ride her horse and that was her passion at 72, right? That's what reminded me of that example, I would say. If you love riding horses but you live in the inner city, are you at least doing it on vacation? Live heaven on earth. Get your practice in. Because I heard this saying, many of you probably haven't heard it, but it's called heaven on earth. Right? Heaven on earth. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Start living heaven on earth. Just taking a break. You're listening to Evadyne with Company, talk worth listening to. And if you're listening to this on my YouTube, that means it's not live, and you have a question or a comment or a show idea, please call 347-649-7741. You can call that number 24/7, so no matter where you are listening, you can just call in. And don't forget, my YouTube address is like, share, subscribe, ring.com. But if you're on my YouTube and you're listening, like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. You could also go visit Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself YouTube, and you can see all of the different shows that are on the network. You can call into the 520-525-8633 line and listen to the entire show lineup. The summer lineup is coming soon. But if you're listening to this in the summer, then you're probably listening to the most updated show. But we have shows 7 days a week. Following my show is Belief System at 8 p.m. on Mondays with King David. 7 a.m. every day. There's a prayer line. You could call in, listen, participate in the prayer line. On Tuesdays at 6 p.m. you have Grace Space with Jada. And at 7:30 p.m. you have the Pink Sofa Talk with Carol Lucille. But again, every day, 7 days of this week and every week, there are shows every single day. And all the times are Eastern Standard Time when you listen to the show lineup. But we are here today talking about empty nesters, and we just want people to be successfully prepared to live at home, possibly alone. So that goes back to your friends again. Watch this. So I met a lady some time ago, and she was looking forward to retirement, and her 2 sons were still living with her. They were grown, working, all well and good. Her plan was to sell her house and to retire. She was going to retire in a year because she wanted to finish paying her house off. She was already a senior citizen. She was already over 62. She was like 65. But she wanted to pay her house off so that when she sold it, she wouldn't have to pay the bank any additional money. But one of the other things, she wanted to make sure that her children, her 2 young sons, her sons, they were adults, that they were secured. So I suggested to her, and she was moving. She was planning on moving down to West Virginia to live with her sister. They were going to live together and, do that thing. So I suggested to her, and I said this to her, I said, "You've never lived in your home alone, have you?" And she said, "No." I said, "Okay." So the life you're living today with your sons living there and working still and really tired of work, because that's how it all started. When she got into the car, she was just like so fed up with this whole commuting thing. So I explained to her that it didn't make sense to me that she continued doing something she dreaded doing, which was going to work, just to pay off her house so that when she sold it, she wouldn't have to pay the bank anything. That didn't make any sense to me, that you would do something that you're dreading just so you don't have to pay something that's going to be like cherry on the whipped cream, which is all on top of the sundae anyway. You're not even going to see that, whatever that is. But I suggested to her to keep her house as a senior, to get a reverse mortgage, pull out some money, buy your sons a 2-bedroom condo, buy it, no mortgage, just buy it, a 2-bedroom condo. This way, you know that they're going to have a place to live forever, and they could move, see you guys, and then make your house your home. Your home. Okay, you raised your family in it. Very good. They're all raised. That's good. But make your family your home, because where her house was, and the house was beautiful, she had never lived and enjoyed that house as a single woman. It's a big difference. When, as a single woman or a single man, you could get up and if you wanted to just walk around in your pajamas all day, you could do that. If you wanted to do nothing all day, you could do that. If you wanted to hear only what you put on, you could do that. Differently from anything else she's ever experienced living with the grown men who are now living in her home. And then I also believe in the Golden Girls. I love the Golden Girls show. I believe in communal living. And so it goes back to that whole Friends thing, where if you have a home and or an apartment, and your grown children have now moved on into their lives, and you have friends who are living alone, guess what? Come together. Live together. Be there for one another. So, because lonely is a different story. So lonely is because you may have no one. Not just your children, you may have no one. No one. No friends, no mate, maybe even no children. Maybe you've never had children. But I would love to hear from someone who's without children and hear how their life is as single, unchild, no such word, unchild person, right? And I don't mean single fathers or non-custodial fathers, just a person who absolutely has no children, what their single life is like. Because for me, once you have a child, you're no longer single. I don't care how old they are. Once you have a child, you're no longer single. Even if you don't have a mate, you're no longer single. I mean, that's just my opinion, of course, once you have a child. But, I mean, just the idea of communal living is a great way when you have friends, that you really get along with. And so it goes back to adult children still living home when they do. I don't see a sense in them going out and paying rent to a stranger when they can take that money and help out the family, home or apartment, whatever it is, again, as long as everyone has their freedom to roam. I remember listening on a podcast, and the ladies were saying that their grown children are living home, but they're coming in late, and wait, whoa, they could not come in at all. They're grown. Again, parents don't know how to untie themselves, really, in some cases, because they're not untied themselves. They're not untied. They're committed and involved and strongly attached to something that may not be real. Maybe it's real for their household, but I would think if there was a disturbance and something to talk about, then it's not real in their household. It's their way, but the children, but their children who are now grown don't see the same thing. But again, like you mentioned, Shirley, lack of effective communication. Because you being grown, there's that little bit of understanding that if you're not going to come in, say, hey, I'm going out and I'll be out for the weekend. Okay, good. This way the parent is not waiting for you to come home, because whether it's a parent or a roommate, sometimes people have that second thought of, oh gosh, I can't sleep until I know, everybody's in. That's that thing. But that's that thing that you get used to. Or if there's a double lock that goes on the door at night and you're not coming in that night, then you say, yes, I'm not coming in tonight, or I'm not going to coming in for the weekend, so now people can secure their homes. That's fine too. And that works well even if it's a child and you're hanging out, not child, but like a 17 or 18-year-old who's home, but you're the adult, you're going out. You're going to say, I'm going to come in a little late. Not that it's disrespectful, not that you owe it to them and they're the adult, but you want to communicate. I'll be in a little late tonight, so leave the door unlocked, leave the top lock unlocked. That kind of communication. Just communication, people. So, any comments? Okay. I'm going to invite you to go to my... Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Well, you hit on so many good points, and that's a good idea, because you know what? It keeps you alive when you have like-minded people around you your age that understand you or younger. But also, I'm an empty nester. My children are 35, 36. My son he came home a second time. He's moving out June 1st. He came home. He had to revamp himself and he was in school getting his master's degree in computer science. He did get it, and now he's going out. He's leaving, and this is the last time he's able to turn around and come home. This is my life, and I own it, and I really strongly take presence over it, because this is the last spin that I have in my golden years. I don't know if I'm in my silver, golden, but I refuse to let anybody take that time and monopolize that time. And I travel. I learn who I am. I learn what I like. I learn different cultures. I learn just different things in this world to explore. And that's what I'm going to do. So now that I'm done doing what I've been called to do, now I'm doing what I want to do. And this is the pleasure of what God intended for us to do. So if you have time to yourself and you did your job, find something you like. Find something that you're passionate about. Explore it. Tap into it. And you'll be surprised. And then, I start stretching muscles that I didn't know I had. And I start walking, and when you start walking and exercising, you feel so much better. So you got to start somewhere, but the last thing you want to do is get locked inside. So just find your passion and go for it.
Of course, I agree with that. I agree. And I like what you said. He came back to regroup, and he had a goal. He accomplished his goal, and now he's off and running again. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as everybody agrees, and like we're saying, communication is open and running, and a nice flow. Thank you, Shirley. Anyone else have any comments or questions? I know I'm talking about empty nesters, and I'm visualizing all of you with a bird's nest on your head. They say when you're afraid of speaking, think of something funny and look at the audience. Imagine them all naked. I'm not going to imagine you all naked, but I am going to imagine all of you with a bird's nest on your head, because we have been prepared for life. Whether or not we're living it completely is another story. And if you feel like you weren't prepared, then that means you know what needs to be done, that you can continue preparing yourself for a successful future. Tomorrow's not promised, so do all you can do today And if you can lay groundwork for others to follow, that's a true blessing, in my opinion. You know, a lot of this is my opinion. That's the name of one of my books, too. As a matter of fact, it is my opinion. That was supposed to be my first book, but I've locked down the title. As a matter of fact, it is my opinion. You know, why not? We all have one, and our opinions are very valuable. Yes, ma'am.
I teach. I'm an Eastern Star. If that resonates with anybody, I teach young ladies how to be a daughter, how to be a good friend, how to take a stand, how to how to be sisters, and then how to stand on what you believe. And then we go up further, but as Eastern Stars, these are the things we teach young ladies. And the men teach the boys. And then when they grow into young men and young ladies, they merge together. And sometimes they find their husband and their wife in the Eastern Stars. But we teach these very things, getting young people ready for life. And it's been going on since the 1800s. So anybody that wants to be taught or want to be part of the organization, just see me, and I'll be glad to help you if you need help in that capacity.
So I thank you. So why don't you give your phone number and or your email? So remember, this is going to go on YouTube. So determine what you want to give, your phone number or your email.
My phone number is 443. Please text me. 443-538-5501. Please text me Eastern Stars if you want to be part of the Eastern Stars. And then if I miss your call, I'll be certain to call you back.
Very good, thank you. And if it's gentlemen who are listening and they are interested in the Masons, you can direct them in that direction as well. You can direct them where to go.
I surely can.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen,
what state is he in?
So when you say you're educating young girls, what's the age range of the young girls that you are mentoring?
The one that I mentor is 18 and up. 18 older.
So that's
100. 100.
Is that the youngest that they could go into the mentoring program?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is that the youngest age that they can start learning about the order?
It starts, I believe, there's another department started at 5, up to 18. I can look into that.
Okay. Okay. No, I was just curious. There's a lot of different programs out there. There's the Jack and Jill program that also helps young children, starts developing them for a successful future, and that's excellent. I guess similar also with. Go ahead.
Yes, that's what we do. And also we teach them to give back into the community. Once their success is sought and they're where they could give, there's nothing wrong with giving back if you can, but don't stretch yourself if you can't. So sometimes we do things in the community, and we take families once a year, because we're a nonprofit organization. Once a year, we pick a family that's in stress and try to meet whatever need we can meet. So we vote on, it's a team unit. We have to vote things in because it's always about the whole team. You know what I mean?
No,
If that's
absolutely.
so.
Absolutely.
Before we
So,
make any decisions, everybody has to be comfortable with the decision.
so you provide support and guidance for not only young girls and young men, but also families
Yes,
to a degree.
yes,
That's
yes.
beautiful.
And then we
That's
put on functions. We do things in the community, donations. Just different things. We get scholarships. We try to help in any capacity. There's a guideline that you got to follow for the scholarship. And it's more programs than that. So, again, we are International Masons in the Order of the Eastern Star.
Thank you. And so the interesting thing about that is, as we're talking about empty nesters, that sometimes you have to find that next thing to do, right? That next thing to do. So your children are all grown. You may still be working or maybe not still be working, but looking for that
Okay.
next. One second, Shirley. Looking for that next part to play in this life. So starting something new, starting something different, exploring options. Go ahead, Shirley.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that because you're hitting on every point of my life, seem like. But however, just to share a little bit that could be helpful to someone. When I was raising my children, I looked for an outlet because I knew it was coming to that point to where it was about me and what I want to do because my children were getting to that age where I know they were going to leave. So I started working on things that I might possibly want to do and put it on my niche, my belt. And just in case I want to use it, it's there because I earned it. So, however, I came across this young lady that introduced this travel package to me, and I picked up on it, and I studied it, I followed it, I took my time. There was no pressure or nothing like that, and I started just to see if this is what I really wanted. And it was so exciting once I really read through it. I couldn't wait to jump on it. And now I am a worldwide travel agent, and it's a beautiful thing. Um, it's you can do whatever you want to do. The world belongs to you, literally. So I joined Surge 365. If you want to join Surge 365, /skexclusivevacations.com. You can sign up if you want. And my travel is skexclusivevacations.net. That's a worldwide savings site that, we beat the savings, and what that is a vortex. And it disperses it disperses and look for the lowest rate possible all over every engine, and it brings it back to the client, which is you, and give you the lowest rate possible. That's what the vortex is about. So
that's very good. I always believe that we should. Well, I believe looking at the pictures of Adam and Eve, as I mention all the time, looking at the pictures of Adam and Eve, that we were born to vacation. That's what I believe. We were born to vacation. And so travel is one of those things that you actually start traveling when you start reading. When you start reading creatively, it travels your brain to so many different places. And now with the internet, you could literally go on Google View and go to any country and open up and look at the streets. You can look at the streets. You can look and see what's going on Google View. So the internet is fascinating. Our options are fascinating. Travel it's a world wonder. SK Exclusive Travel, Shirley's Travel Business, skexclusivetravel.net. Of course, if you go to my website, networkingforsuccess.info, you'll see the travel option on there also. And Shirley and I are part of the same travel group. So I thank you for sharing that information. And yes, you find that extra something that you want to do. Some people want to study martial arts, never took a chance to do it. Some people want to learn the computers, never took a chance to do it. Start doing something different for yourself and building yourself, so that if you happen to come across an empty apartment or home because your children have grown and you don't have grandchildren yet, because once you have grandchildren, they're going to be in your house. But if that happens to be you, go do something different depending on your age. I notice now they're not using senior centers as much as they're now using adult social centers. So I believe you can join as young as 55. And the activities that go on in these centers, you're under no obligation to attend every day. So you can go when you want to go. I remember with Accessoride, I picked this lady up and I dropped her off at what was a senior center at the time. And then I saw her maybe like a little over a year later, and I was taking her to another senior center, and I was like, wait, this is not where I took you before. Mind you, a little over a year prior, right? So she said, girl, she said, I registered with several different centers, and whatever is on the program is where I go, because it's all about what she wants to do. You have choices. You have options. But if you're not a senior, still get yourself involved in activities that suit you. Don't be alone. Lonely starts in the mind. Lonely starts in the mind. So unwind yourself by engaging actively. Why do people engage yourself so that I think I might be invisible today. But engage yourself into activities that will help you be happy, because that's what it's all about, you being happy. Anyone else, any comments? We're talking about empty nesters. We're talking about being successful and being happy and having a nice, long, wonderful life. And here's again, if you're listening to this on my YouTube, which means you're not on live, and you have a comment, question, or show idea, you may call 347-649-7741. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Leave your message. Leave your comment. It's a wonderful world that we're living in. Don't let the sad, bad news control your thinking or your direction. Stay positive. Stay enlightened. Stay awake or wake up, right? Stay awake or wake up. And know that there are many, many, many options out here for you. Many options. This is Memorial Day, and of course we think about those that we lost. Memorial Day is officially a day for military memorial, but it also brings to light many people who have lost loved ones. So, to all of you who have lost anyone along the way, physically, mentally, or spiritually, I wish you peace and understanding. I invite you to go to YouTube and look for Conversations with God. It's an 8-hour production. It is a book, and the author narrates the book. It is so enlightening and empowering, and I do believe you'll feel good. Not to say you have to feel bad. I listened. I wasn't feeling bad, but I felt that it provides you with a lot of answers. Conversations with God on YouTube. It's 8 hours. That is the one you're looking for. Take a listen. I think it's a good thing. I'm going to end the show now. If no one else has anything else to share, again, I invite you to come back at 8 p.m. Mondays for Belief System with King David. Every morning at 7 a.m. we have the prayer line. And again, at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, it's Grace Space with Jada. And at 7:30 p.m. it's the Pink Sofa Talk with Carol Lucille. So if no one else, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who came on, everyone who participated. Shirley, I appreciate you very much. I really love your input. Do you have any final comments?
Thank you, and happy Memorial Day to everyone. And for those piggyback off of what Evadyne said, Yvonne, one thing I just want to say is skexclusivevacations.net.
Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you so much for having me on and inviting me. I look forward to jumping on when I'm not so busy. We're going to be doing bigger things, Evadyne. So I'm looking forward to it, and thank you again.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Yes, we have some cruises that we're bringing up and some other vacation tours that we're putting together. So we'll keep you all posted on that. You can also email me, teamfollowme@yahoo.com, and you can call me directly if you like, 347-457-2769. Please go to my YouTube and just browse the different show topics that I have there. The YouTube again is like, share, subscribe, ring.com. Like, share, subscribe, ring.com. I know that's kind of cute, right? I know. Very creative brain I have. So, if there are no other comments, again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming on. I appreciate your time. I am Evadyne. This is Evadyne with Company Talk Worth Listening To. And just enjoy all your festivities if you're engaging in them this weekend. On my end in New York was a great, beautiful weekend. Today was a lot of rain. But just take it inside. You know, if you plan to barbecue, just take it inside and enjoy yourself. Whatever it is you're eating, whatever it is you're singing, whatever it is you're doing. Have a great every day, and I thank everyone again. Thank you.